Hello everyone. Today we will discuss another topic under environmental studies and environmental laws. Today we will discuss about the human rights perspective on the environment and environmental law. The list of topics to be covered here are introduction, relationship, different concepts, first, second and third concept, sustainable development and human rights. Exercise and enjoyment of human rights by all the people is necessary for full development as a human being. Human rights help us to enlarge our inherent traits, aptitude, talent, and to meet our objects and religious needs. Life, livelihoods, culture, and society are elementary aspects of human subsistence, and their maintenance is a fundamental human right. Devastation of environment is therefore a violation of human right, and to extreme human rights cannot be enjoyed at all if the environment becomes impaired past a certain grave plane. The entire of the community might in such a case expire collectively with all its culture. The poorer the environment becomes, the more impaired are human rights, and vice versa. The enjoyment of all human rights is familiar connected to the environmental issues. Not only rights to life and health, but also other social, economic, cultural, as well as political and civil rights can be fully enjoyed only in a sound environment. Environmental protection and human rights were viewed as separate areas by governmental institutions and non-governmental institutions, alike at both national and international levels. The environmental issues in different regions of the world are now being accepted as having major human rights implications by the global society with growing globalization. The correlation between the expansion of science and technology and human rights has already been on the program of diverse United Nations bodies for decades. In spite of the obvious connection between environment and human rights, international human rights law, which contemplates environmental damage as an infringement of human rights, has only lately begun to materialize, and lucid definitions of environmental human rights have yet to be formulated. The link between human rights and the environment and may have contributed to the specific articulation of environmental rights in a recent United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, adopted by the Human Rights Council by resolution of June 2006. This includes one article specifically linking the environment to the human rights of indigenous people. Different concepts. Scholars have been proposed at least three different concepts of the environmental rights. Environmental rights as a separate human rights is the first one. Environmental rights as a encompassed with the in previously established human rights is the second concept, and the third one is environmental rights as the rights of the environment in and of itself, regardless of its effects on the people. The first concept conceives of environmental rights as disconnect human rights independent conventional human rights. It states that everyone shall have the right to live in a healthy environment and to have access to basic public services. The second concept of environmental rights conceives of such rights as entrenched in existing human rights, such as the right to life, the right to health, and the right to property. This concept has a restricted but mounting support from human rights bodies, mostly at the regional level. The third concept of environmental rights treaties such rights as belonging to the environment itself. In the ecocentric view, environmental rights are human rights only in the sense that they require humans to enforce them. As this form of rights has no precedent in either codified or customary international law or in common law, judges have not yet ruled on its applicability, nor are they likely to do so. Courts are habitually reserved to implement rights which they have minute experience adjudicating and may be even less inclined to enforce rights which have yet to be firmly established as law. Sustainable development and human rights. Individuals and groups not only have the right to an adequate environment but also the duty to protect and improve the environment. This responsibility is not only towards other individuals or the community in which they live, but towards mankind as whole and even the future generations. Fundamental human rights. All human beings have the fundamental right to an environment which is adequate for their health and well being. But one of the most important consequences of incorporating human rights principles within environmental law scope is to provide victims of environmental degradation the possibility of access to all round justice.